Alright, we've got some great news for your rich dudes out there. Yep, Lucid just dropped some info, images, along with this fancy video to get us all kinds of hyped up for their brand new big boy SUV, and they're calling it the Gravity. What's up, motorheads, and welcome back to Gearbox Pizza. So the world of super premium giant electric SUVs is actually pretty thin right now, but Lucid is planning to win the segment, and look, I'll admit, they've got the numbers and the know-how to do just that. But boy, is this thing gonna be expensive, and that's the bad news. The good news? Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to get that side hustle rolling because, well, best case scenario, maybe they hit their target delivery date of 2024, but hey, look, delays are more or less the name of the game with EVs it seems, so 2024 might be a little ambitious. Okay, so what is this thing? So odds are, well, since you clicked on the thumbnail, you're probably well aware of Lucid and their existing Motor Trend Car of the Year winner, the Air. And if not, well, it's a big premium all-electric sedan, and it's also the absolute range champion among all EVs with a range that somehow tops out at 520 miles, which is sort of equal parts awesome, amazing, and expensive. Yep, to live on the cutting edge of what's possible with an EV, well, it's gonna cost you, with the top trim digging you for over $250,000. But it's faster than just about anything out there, period. I mean, I think the only thing faster is really the multi-million-dollar Rimac, but that's a whole different story. So the Air, yeah, it's pretty great, got it. Which would lead you to believe that the Gravity is gonna be pretty great, and I agree completely. Except for one little thing, but more on that later. So the Air and the Gravity will be more or less sharing a platform, with the Gravity reportedly coming in at just 1 inch longer than the already pretty large Lucid Air. So the Gravity will almost certainly share as much as possible with the Air. I mean, look, building out a brand new car company is like crazy expensive, and developing an all new model just adds tons of cost to that. So obviously Lucid's gonna look to use as much Air as they can in engineering and building out the Gravity. With that in mind, we can make some assumptions here, like, well, they're gonna share some of the big ticket items, like the motors and the battery, which it's good news because they're both very solid. So it might be simplifying things a little too much by saying this is sort of going to be like a lifted wagon version of the Air, but I do think it's kind of accurate. Now layout wise, we're looking at a 5, 6, or even 7 seat configuration with either 2 or 3 rows of seats. Tech-wise, we're hearing that the Gravity is going to feature their next generation high-res displays along with a significantly updated UI, which will also, apply to the Air, but that's sort of obvious, right? Lucid has also said that the Gravity will redefine the SUV category and will set brand new benchmarks across the board. And this makes sense. Look, again, you don't have to look too far to get a solid understanding of what their playbook's gonna be like. I mean, just like the Lucid Air Sapphire is set to out Tesla, the current speed champion, the Model S Plaid, the Lucid Gravity Sapphire will likely try to take down the Model X Plaid. Now, this is all assuming that Lucid can deliver. I mean, remember, the Model S and the Model X Plaid are done. They're already out there in the real world with buckets of crazy acceleration videos like all over YouTube. And the Sapphire, well, we're gonna have to wait a bit before we know if it's real or not. But I think it is, or will be. When Lucid said that we're gonna break 500 miles of range, we pretty much all had the same thought, the whole, well, I'll believe it when I see it sort of thing. Well, when you know it, they pulled it off, so I'm inclined to take them at their word when they drop performance bombs like this. Lucid is also saying that this fella's gonna have the second longest range of any EV on the market. Yep, second only to the Lucid Air, which does make sense. Now, it sounds like they're targeting 500 miles of range, but I'm just not sure if that's achievable when you consider just how big and heavy this thing is, even though this will apparently be the most aerodynamic SUV ever made. Okay, so pretty amazing, right? Yeah, look, it is, it's great. But again, this is just gonna cost you, and it's gonna cost you big. It'll undoubtedly be a bit more expensive than the already very expensive Lucid Air, which will unfortunately make this pretty irrelevant to most of the world and to most people. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad it exists, and with any luck, all this fancy tech will make its way downstream to us mere mortals. The other issue, and I'm gonna reserve judgment a bit here, but that's the styling, and specifically the profile, which if I'm being honest, well, sort of gives me a little bit of that minivan vibe. And like, I'm just a little worried that the wind tunnel is dictating way too many of the styling choices here, sort of like what Mercedes has done recently with some of their electric efforts. Anyway, so this thing is sure to be pretty amazing, and the performance is on schedule to indeed redefine the segment. The luxury and the tech on the inside will be as good as anyone's, but when these sorts of things cost in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, I mean, it just better look amazing. Like amazing, and I'm just not quite convinced yet, but I'll reserve judgment here for when we can take a closer look.